I'm Charles. I'm 55 years old. I'm 6'1" when I'm fully assembled. I weigh about 230 pounds. Today I'm going to talk about going off a curb in a wheelchair. Now I need to be a little bit specific here. You can look at videos all over the internet about different people doing wheelchair things, and I want to explain one main difference that you need to be aware of first. A lot of times when you see people going up and down curbs, they do what's called a wheelie pop, and most of the folks that are doing that are people that are in a different kind of wheelchair than I'm in. Now the type of wheelchair I'm in is basically a chair with wheels on it. Okay, my understanding is in the United States, which is where I am, about 80% of the people that use wheelchairs on a regular basis have this type of wheelchair. Basically, it's a chair with wheels on it. That's from people that should know. In any case, most of the people that you see going up and down curbs on videos, they do not have this type of a wheelchair. They have, instead of a chair with wheels, they actually have a vehicle, kind of like a bicycle or a skateboard or something like that. I mean, this thing is designed completely different. It may look the same by the naked eye, but it's not. It has a different kind of wheels, the balance is set up different, all kinds of things are different, and they often do what's called wheelie pops, and it allows them to kind of hop up and down curbs. That is not something you want to really attempt to do in this type of wheelchair. Most of the time they're set up to be far more stable than the other type of wheelchair, which means the base of the wheels are farther apart. It's more difficult to tip them over. One of the problems is once they start going over, it's more difficult to recover. So one of the things, when I'm talking about this, is I wanted to talk about when I was first learning to drive my wheelchair, one of the issues I came against was going up and down these curbs. And here's a simple example. I'm going to, what I need to do is I need to get down this curb. There's parking blocks in the way, so I want to attempt to get in here. So as I was looking at ways to do this, looking for videos on the internet, I learned a lot better by seeing how people do stuff and not just by some description of what they're doing. So I'm looking at videos, and some of the things I've seen are people in this type of wheelchair situation to go backwards. All right, I'm going to tell you, now these people that were doing this purported to be people that actually train people how to operate wheelchairs safely. I don't see that. I don't see it at all. To me, it's crazy. As I mentioned before, these wheelchairs are very stable when they're this way, but once they start to tip, the weight changes so fast it's very difficult to recover. The only way to make this type of curb from while going backwards without tipping over is to lean way forward so that the weight is way forward. And if you're in a situation like me where you have two prosthetic legs, maybe one day you don't have a prosthetic leg on for whatever reason, it's swollen or it's sore or whatever, your balances may be well different than what you're used to. And that would, of course, be a bad thing. Even if you didn't have that situation, you had both your legs or you didn't have either leg and that's the way you normally go, it still has a real problem with balance. I would liken this to crossing the street backwards. Now why the heck would you do that? If you're doing that, you got to do this. It's harder to see both ways. You can't see what's directly behind you. Why would you do that? Of course, the way you would do if you were crossing the street, walking or in a wheelchair, is you would do it like this. You got a good field of vision. You can see everything. Why would I risk tipping over, busting my skull, going backwards? I would suggest anybody who has seen that type of video just to ignore that, do something more practical. There is something that I show on another video. You can take a look at that. But in real life, in the United States, every place like this has got wheelchair ramps about every 40 or 50 feet. It would just be much, much safer go that extra distance and hit the wheelchair ramp, even though it's longer. Maybe your car's right here, whatever. Do the wheelchair ramp, be safe, be practical, and hopefully this information was helpful for you, and good luck.